Stop. Put that basket down and step away from the aisle. You are currently walking through a high-tech illusion designed to feed your family, but the food you see is more of a chemical experiment than a meal. Seriously, take a breath, because what I'm about to tell you might make you want to throw your entire fridge out the window. It is okay, you can relax for a second, but your trust in the grocery store is about to be completely demolished. You think you're buying farm-fresh ingredients? Oh, you sweet summer child. You are actually paying premium prices for industrial waste disguised by clever marketing and red food coloring. We are talking about a massive, coordinated betrayal of your taste buds and your health. I have compiled 33 chilling truths about the items sitting in your cart right now. This is going to hurt, it might make you laugh at the sheer absurdity, and it will definitely change the way you shop forever. Prepare your soul. Fact 1. Store-bought Ryazhenka, the caramel ghost. You see that beautiful beige-toned bottle and imagine a grandmother in a village simmering milk in a clay oven for 12 hours. You grab it because it feels traditional and wholesome. Oh boy, hold your horses. In reality, modern industrial producers haven't seen a wood-fired oven in decades. They take cheap, mass-produced milk powder, rehydrate it with water, and then stir in a heavy dose of caramel-colored dye and artificial flavoring to mimic that toasted scent. Instead of the natural caramelization of lactose, you are drinking a chemistry set's version of a tan. It is basically beige-colored water with a dream of being dairy. Bon appetit! Fact 2. Long shelf-life kefir, the probiotic graveyard. Imagine you are looking for those legendary live cultures that are supposed to turn your gut into a fortress of health. You pick a bottle with a 6-month expiration date, thinking you are a health guru. Ha! Let's get real here. To make that bottle survive a trip across the continent and sit on a warm shelf, they pasteurize the living daylight out of it. By the time it hits your glass, the live bacteria count is about as high as the population of a ghost town. You are drinking sour, stabilized milk glue. It's about as alive as the asphalt on the highway outside the store. Enjoy your glass of fermented nothingness. Fact 3. Glazed curd bars, the palm oil Trojan horse. You're at the checkout, and you grab a little chocolate-covered curd snack for a healthy, quick bite. It looks like a tiny cheesecake, right? Ouch, not even close. If you look at the microscopic print, you'll find that the curd is barely 40% of the weight, and even that is often stripped of nutrients. The rest? A dense mixture of hydrogenated palm fat and sugar, wrapped in a chocolate coating that contains 0 cocoa butter. It is a wax cylinder filled with tropical grease. You're not eating a snack, you're eating a candle flavored like a midlife crisis. How's that for a treat? Fact 4. Druzhba processed cheese, the industrial afterparty. Remember that smooth, spreadable cheese that everyone loves for a quick sandwich? You think it's just melted cheddar or something fancy? Well, I hate to break it to you, this stuff is the ultimate recycling project of the dairy world. It is made from the shrapnel of the cheese industry, the rinds, the scraps, and the batches that went wrong, all melted down with a terrifying cocktail of phosphates and melting salts. These chemicals are there to make sure the cheese doesn't realize it's actually a liquid. It's basically cheese-flavored plasticine designed to survive a nuclear winter. Spread that on your toast. Fact 5. Doktorskaya sausage, the soy illusion. In the old days, people thought this was the gold standard of meat, a pure product for the health-conscious. You see it in the deli and think, hey, some protein! Stop right there. While the original recipe was meat-heavy, the modern version is a masterpiece of deception. We are talking about a product where only 30% is actual meat, and the rest is a slurry of soy protein isolate and carrageenan. Carrageenan is a seaweed derivative used to turn water into a bouncy gel so they can sell you liquid at the price of ham. It's like a meat-flavored sponge that's had a very long day. Fact 6. Milk sausages, the starch masquerade. You buy these because they have milk in the name, so they must be gentle and nutritious for the kids, right? Wrong. Oh, so wrong. There is exactly 0% actual milk in these cylinders of sadness. The name comes entirely from the pale, milky color, which isn't achieved by dairy, but by adding massive amounts of cheap potato starch. When the starch reacts with the meat juices, it turns that specific, delicate shade of pinkish white. You are essentially buying meat-scented bread dough shaped like a finger. It's a culinary magic trick where the audience is the only one losing money. Fact 7. Marinated shish kebab, the vinegar burial. You see that pre-marinated meat in the plastic bucket and think, great, the hard work is done, let's grill. Uh-oh. Think about why a store would hide their meat under a thick layer of acidic vinegar and heavy spices. 99 times out of 100, that meat was about 12 hours away from walking out of the store on its own. The heavy marinade is a reset button for meat that has started to turn gray and smell. The vinegar kills the surface bacteria, and the spices mask the scent of decay. You aren't buying a special recipe, you're buying a funeral for a steak. Fact 8. Packaged chicken breast, the phosphate pump. You pick up a pack of chicken breast, feeling proud of your lean protein choice. It looks plump, juicy, and heavy. Well, it is heavy, but not for the reason you think. Producers use giant needles to inject the meat with a solution of water and phosphates. This brine can increase the weight of the chicken by 40%. You are literally paying $10 a pound for tap water trapped inside muscle fibers. When you cook it, the chicken shrinks to the size of a walnut and the pan fills with white goo. Congratulations! You just bought the most expensive glass of water in history. Fact 9. Smoked wings, the liquid smoke scandal. The smell of smoked wings is intoxicating, suggesting hours of patient wood firing in a rustic smokehouse. You can almost see the hickory chips, can't you? Snap out of it. Those wings never saw a puff of real smoke. They were dipped in a vat of liquid smoke, a concentrated chemical byproduct, and sprayed with a vibrant red dye to simulate a smoke ring. It's basically a paint job for poultry. You are eating wings that have been chemically tanned to look like they've had a busy weekend at a BBQ. It's all theater, and your stomach is the stage. Fact 10. Siberian dumplings, the skin and fat show. You grab a bag of frozen dumplings for an easy dinner, thinking you're getting a hearty meat filling wrapped in dough. It's a classic, right? Well, let's look under the hood. In the world of mass-produced Siberian dumplings, the meat is a mathematical miracle. Usually, it's 50% soy filler, 20% ground-up pork skin, and 30% pure fat, seasoned with enough salt to preserve a mummy. The meat flavor is often just a chemical extract. It's like a leather jacket and a tub of lard got together and decided to pretend to be a meal. Dig in! Oh, you're still here? I thought you'd be halfway to a farmer's market by now. But stay tuned, because if you think the meat was bad, wait until you see what they're doing to your fresh bread and sauces. It gets much, much weirder. Fact 11. Potato Vareniki, the cardboard mash. You're craving some comfort food, so you grab a box of frozen dumplings with potatoes, picturing a fluffy, buttery mash inside. Oh, you poor soul. Open your eyes. In the industrial world, peeling and boiling real potatoes is way too expensive. Instead, they fill those dough pockets with dehydrated potato flakes, the same stuff used to make Pringles or industrial wallpaper paste, mixed with cheap margarine. There is no butter, no soul, and barely any vegetable. It's essentially a wet, salty sponge made of starch and yellow dye. You're eating rehydrated construction material wrapped in flour. Enjoy your home-cooked meal. Fact 12. Ready-made pancakes, the eggless wonder. You see those perfectly golden pre-made pancakes and think of a cozy Sunday morning. You assume there's flour, fresh eggs, and milk in there, right? Ha! Not in this reality. To keep them shelf-stable and cheap, manufacturers swap fresh eggs for industrial egg powder and replace milk with a chemical dairy-like white liquid. Then, they fry them in technical-grade vegetable oil that's been reused more times than a rental car. The result is a rubbery disc that could probably survive a trip to Mars. It's a pancake-shaped lie that's never seen a real farm. Welcome to the Breakfast of Champions. Fact 13. Frozen hash browns. The baking soda bomb. You want that crispy fried potato goodness for your morning side dish. It looks like shredded gold, doesn't it? Well, buckle up. To get that specific texture and stop the potatoes from turning a natural, ugly gray, they douse them in chemical leavening agents. We are talking about massive amounts of sodium acid pyrophosphate and baking soda reacted with vinegar to create an artificial fluff. It's basically a chemistry experiment designed to puff up cheap potato scraps. You aren't eating breakfast, you're eating a fizzy, salty potato cloud that's mostly air and preservatives. Truly a scientific achievement. Fact 14. Potato pancakes, draniki, the starch mirage. You think you're getting traditional hand-grated potato pancakes like your grandma used to make? You see the texture, and you're sold. But wait! Look closer at the label. Most frozen draniki are actually just compressed potato starch mixed with onion powder and natural flavors. There is very little actual potato fiber involved because real potatoes turn black when frozen. To keep them white and fresh, they use sulfur dioxide, the same stuff used to preserve dried apricots and clean wine barrels. You're eating a sulfur-scented starch puck. It's a miracle they don't glow in the dark. Fact 15. Frozen cabbage rolls. The Chinese cabbage trap. You see goluptsi and think of slow-cooked meat wrapped in tender cabbage leaves. It feels like a healthy, vegetable-heavy choice. Wrong again. To save money, producers use the cheapest, toughest outer leaves of Chinese cabbage, which are then chemically softened. And the filling? It's a meat masterpiece consisting of 70% textured soy protein and 30% meat flavor. There is more personality in the plastic tray than in the actual roll. You are basically eating a soy-filled leaf that's been treated like industrial textiles. It's a vegetable-themed disappointment in every bite. Fact 16. Fish cakes, the bone and fin grinder. You're looking for a light, healthy seafood dinner, so you pick up some breaded fish cakes. Pollock, the box says. Technically, yes, but not the part of the fish you're thinking of. After the nice fillets are taken for expensive restaurants, the leftovers, bones, fins, skin, and guts, are scraped off the carcass and ground into a gray paste called minced fish. They pack it with breadcrumbs to hide the texture and add fish-like chemicals to cover the smell of old oil. You're eating the floor scraps of the ocean, deep-fried for your convenience. Dive in, the water's murky. Fact 17. Chicken nuggets, the mechanical slurry. The kids love them, and they look like little golden clouds of protein. You think it's just chopped up breast meat, right? Oh man, you're in for a shock. Most nuggets are made from mechanically separated meat. This means high-pressure hoses blast every last bit of tissue off the bones, including gristle, tendons, and connective tissue, until it becomes a pink slime. They then bleach it, flavor it, and mold it into fun shapes. It's essentially a meat-flavored rubber eraser coated in crumbs. You're feeding your kids a chemistry project disguised as a snack. Fact 18. Turkey steaks, the meat glue symphony. You see a beautiful, thick turkey steak and think, now that's a solid piece of poultry. Stop. It might look like one piece, but it's actually a jigsaw puzzle. Manufacturers take small, useless scraps of turkey and weld them together using an enzyme called transglutaminase, famously known as meat glue. This stuff creates a seamless bond that survives cooking, making 10 tiny pieces look like one premium steak. You're paying for the illusion of quality while eating the industrial duct tape of the meat world. It's a Frankenstein monster on a plate. Fact 19. Frozen burgers, the soy and margarine disc. You want a quick BBQ vibe, so you grab a pack of frozen burgers with the buns included. It's a classic American dream, right? More like a nightmare. The bun is loaded with margarine and high fructose corn syrup to keep it soft for months. The patty? It's a soy-heavy disc with just enough beef fat to make it smell like a grill. And that cheese slice? It's a dairy product that has never seen a cow, made mostly of vegetable oil and emulsifiers. You are eating a sandwich made of lab-grown regrets. Fact 20. 4-cheese pizza. The aroma illusion. You're feeling fancy, so you go for the 4-cheese variety. You imagine mozzarella, gorgonzola, parmesan, and cheddar all melting together. Reality check? It's usually just one type of cheap, analog cheese, mostly palm oil and casein, divided into 4 piles. Each pile is sprayed with a different artificial aroma to trick your brain into thinking you're tasting variety. It's a 1-cheese show with 4 different costumes. You're paying for a symphony, but listening to a single broken kazoo. Still hungry? You've made it through the meat and the meals, but we are about to enter the final level. The staples you eat every single day. Bread, sauces, and the stuff you think is healthy. Trust me, you aren't ready for Fact 21. One more deep breath. Ready? Fact 21. Ready to eat lasagna, the starch architecture. You see that heavy tray and imagine layers of rich bolognese and creamy bechamel. It looks like a hearty Italian feast, doesn't it? Well, grab a chair because the truth is heavy. Those pasta sheets are made from the lowest grade white flour enriched with nothing but industrial bleach. The meat filling is a masterpiece of soy protein and cellulose, literally wood pulp, to give it bulk without the cost of beef. And that white sauce? It's not milk and butter. It's a thickened concoction of modified cornstarch and palm fat. You're essentially eating a salty, meat-scented brick of edible wet cardboard. It's a culinary construction site. Fact Check 22. Meat ravioli, the 5% miracle. You grab a bag of these little pillows, thinking they are stuffed with savory seasoned beef. You see the picture on the bag, and your mouth waters. Ha! Here is the punchline. In the world of industrial ravioli, the meat filling often contains as little as 15% actual animal tissue. The rest? Breadcrumbs, soy meal, and meat-like flavor enhancers. The dough isn't even made with fresh eggs. They use a dehydrated yellow powder to give it that rich look. You're basically eating a wet bread sandwich shaped like a square. It's a tiny, salty deception in every bite. Fact 23. Sliced white bread, the chemical marshmallow. You touch the loaf and it's so soft, so fluffy, and it stays that way for 3 weeks. You think, wow, what a great bake! Oh dear, that's not baking, that's chemistry. To get that immortal softness, producers use dough conditioners, L-cysteine, sometimes derived from feathers, and powerful emulsifiers. These chemicals break down the flour's structure so it never gets firm. It's basically a sponge filled with preservatives that prevent mold from even wanting to touch it. If a fungus won't eat your bread, why are you? It's a white, puffy ghost of a grain. Fact 24. Whole grain bread, the 5% lie. You feel like a health saint picking the brown loaf with the seeds on top. You see whole grain in big letters and think you're saving your heart. Stop right there. Most of these healthy loaves are just regular white bread dyed brown with molasses or caramel color. They throw in a tiny 5% sprinkle of bran or oats on the crust to trick your eyes. It has the same glycemic index as a donut, just with better PR. You're eating a healthy costume worn by a sugar-filled imposter. It's a fitness scam in a plastic bag. Fact 25. Sliced loaf, baton, the margarine boat. You buy this for your morning toast thinking it's a simple, classic bread. It's shiny, golden, and smells sweet. Well, there's a reason for that glow. Instead of a simple flour and water dough, This is loaded with cheap margarine and high doses of sugar to ensure it browns perfectly in the industrial oven. It's essentially a giant unsweetened cookie masquerading as a staple food. The golden crust is just caramelized sugar and fat. You're starting your day with a carb bomb that's been engineered for maximum shelf appeal. Pure vegetable fat in a bread suit. Fact 26. Toast bread, the eternal loaf. You keep this in the pantry for a month, and it's still as fresh as the day you bought it. No mold, no smell, no change. Magic? No, just a massive dose of calcium propionate and other fungicides. This bread is so heavily treated with preservatives that it's practically mummified. It's designed to survive in a plastic bag in a warm kitchen for weeks without a single spore of life daring to grow on it. You're eating a dead product that refuses to decay. It's the zombie of the bakery aisle. Fact 27. Thin lavash, the industrial sheet. You think this is a natural, ancient bread made in a stone oven with just flour and water. It's thin, healthy, and low-cal, right? Think again. Mass-produced lavash is often made on a giant conveyor belt, using chemical leavening agents and softeners to keep it from cracking when it's folded. Without these chemicals, real lavash would dry out in an hour. This version is more like a thin sheet of edible plastic designed for logistics, not nutrition. It's a wrap-shaped disappointment that's never seen a real fire. Fact 28. Provençal mayonnaise, the watery mirage. You see that 67% fat label and think you're getting a rich egg-based sauce. But wait, look at the budget versions. Many light or standard mayos are actually 70% water and starch. To make water look like thick, creamy mayonnaise, they use massive amounts of stabilizers and emulsifiers. They add a tiny bit of mustard powder for bite and a drop of yellow dye to fake the presence of egg yolks. You are literally paying for thickened, oily water. It's a jar of white lies spread on your sandwich. Fact 29. Tomato ketchup, the apple puree secret. You expect a bottle full of sun-ripened tomatoes, just like the commercial says. Ha! In reality, tomato paste is the most expensive part, so they use as little as possible, often only 20%. The rest? Cheap apple puree, modified cornstarch, and enough sugar to fill a soda can. The red color comes from a heavy dose of dye, not the fruit. You're essentially eating a tomato-flavored apple jam that's been thickened with chemicals. It's a sugary red masquerade for your fries. Fact 30. Russian mustard, the turmeric cheat. You want that sharp, sinus-clearing kick of real mustard. You see the bright yellow jar and think, perfection. But hold on. To save money on expensive mustard seeds, producers use a low-grade mustard powder mixed with a lot of flour and water. To get that vibrant yellow color, they don't rely on the seeds. They dump in turmeric or artificial dyes. The kick is often boosted by vinegar essence rather than the natural oils of the plant. It's a pale imitation of a classic condiment. Fact 31. Caesar dressing, the anchovy ghost. You want that classic salty umami taste of a Caesar salad. You think there are real anchovies and Parmesan in that bottle? Ouch. Most store-bought Caesar dressings contain 0 actual fish. Instead, they use anchovy-identical chemical flavorings and cheap vegetable oil thickened with gums. The Parmesan is usually just salty protein dust. You're pouring a bottle of seasoned, fish-scented laundry starch over your lettuce. It's a salad dressing without a soul. Fact 32. Tartar sauce, the dill extract drama. You're having fish, and you want that creamy, pickled crunch. You see the bits of green in the sauce and think, fresh herbs. Nope, those pickles are often just bits of rehydrated cucumbers treated with firming agents, and the dill flavor comes from a concentrated chemical extract. The base is the same cheap, starch-heavy mayo we talked about before. It's a synthetic garden in a jar. You're dipping your fish into a chemical simulation of a sauce. Fact 33. Homestyle Ajika, the pepper paint. You see Homestyle on the label and imagine a spicy, hand-crushed pepper sauce. It's deep red and looks fiery. Well, here is the final betrayal. Most commercial Ajika is just basic tomato paste mixed with a tiny bit of chili flakes and a massive amount of paprika extract for color. The chunky texture comes from added thickeners, not fresh vegetables. It's a spice-flavored paint job designed to look rustic. You've reached the end of the aisle, and the truth is, almost nothing is what it seems. That's it, 33 hits to your appetite. Still craving that sandwich? Now that you've peeked behind the curtain of this chemical circus, your next trip to the store is going to feel like a high-stakes survival quest. Remember, the food industry isn't looking to feed you. They're looking to sell you water, starch, and soy at the price of gold. Your body is not a landfill for their industrial waste. Read the labels, laugh at their tricks, and don't let them play you for a fool. You've been warned, which means you're now armed. Enjoy your meal. Well, you know what I mean.